Hello and welcome. Alan Plum here again with a little more from Shed Engineering, or more precisely a little bit of an update, and a really big thank you for all your support and concern over the past few weeks. As I say, it's been really tremendous. You'll have to excuse me, I've got a terrible sore throat and hay fever. I say really tremendous. I've had some wonderful comments and offers of help and advice, etc. It'd be wrong to pick anyone out individually, but as I say, even offers from overseas, really touching and heartwarming. So, as I say, a very big thank you for that. Many of you will realise that the end of Haddon to Bakewell wasn't simply down to cost or related to money alone. Shall we say that was just the breaking point or tipping point. There were other issues. Some of it is around jealousy of my partner being unable to do anything or do very little. Excuse me. Whereas I'm, obviously pretty creative and always up to something. And also, my only social outlet is online. I've always enjoyed watching the videos, commenting and watching everyone's progress, etc. So again, there's a certain amount of jealousy of all the comments that I get online, not only on YouTube but other forums as well. So as I say, it's not just that single issue. It's just sad that people don't fully appreciate that how much satisfaction and enjoyment someone can get out of creating something from nothing, or like this, working through all the problems to try and get something to work, or like the road system, for instance. That was a challenge in itself. I was fully aware you weren't all going to jump up and start installing a road system of your own, but to me it was a challenge. It was something different, and a challenge to see whether I could actually unload coal from a railway wagon, get it onto a lorry and have it drive away. I've still got half the layout, and that was one of my original aims, and at some point I will try and pick up on that and see whether it's actually possible. Excuse me. So as sad as it might be, it had to come to an end. It was pointless just folding the layout up and having it stood in the corner. The layout has got a lot of personal connections for me. It wasn't just a fantasy layout, as you well know. It was a real location. My dad took me train spotting at the side of the line near Coombs Road, so I intended modelling, well, the field was already there, but modelling a little dormobile van, because no one does it in N-gauge. So I was hoping to convert and model a little dormobile van, which my dad had at that time, and have the family picnicking at the side of the line. I've also mentioned before a chap I now work for who actually grew up in Bakewell, and we're good friends, and we've walked the line, and so I've got all his reminiscences and memories of the line. Also conducted walks with a gentleman called Glyn Waite. He's also published several books. Glyn Waite used to work at Roseley Shed, just a couple of miles down the line, and so I've learnt a lot of history there. Excuse me. So as I said, there was a big personal connection to the layout. It wasn't just a matter of you know, it being a fantasy layout as such. So as I say, very, very sad, but it had to end. I couldn't just fold it up and stand it in a corner. If there's resentment against that and the time I was spending on it, etc. So the room has been completely cleared out. It hasn't been used as yet, but that's by the by. I've been sitting around like a fish out of water because I'm afraid I'm just not a television person. The amount of programs that I find interesting on the television are very few and far between. So I've been spending a little bit of time in the shed and got tidied up a little bit. And so now we've obviously got to move forward, and I needed something to keep my mind occupied. And so I've gone back to the beam engine that I built. Many of you will have seen this. Just built out of odds and ends, MDF and MDF, timber and so on. But it's not actually a steam engine. It's running on the exhaust from a vacuum cleaner. And so, as I say, ever since being a young lad and playing with Meccano and having a little Mammoth steam engine, it was always my dream to actually build a live steam model. But it's one thing having the money to purchase a lathe, a milling machine, etc. It's quite another to have the skill to actually produce parts that are accurate enough to make a steam engine. But I'm still going to go ahead and try and do a rebuild and try and get it running on steam. To do that, I've got to cast a lot of the main parts. So obviously it's going to have to be aluminium because that's quite a low melting point. Excuse me. And so that's my project going forward. It will be a long-term project, obviously, because there's a lot to do. For a start off, we've got to build a furnace, learn how to make the patterns, although my wood carving experience will help with that, and then do the casting. And I think even if you're quite good at casting, you can soon end up doing sort of 5 or 6 castings before you get one good enough that's good enough to actually use. So I've actually already built a furnace and cast some ingots, well, refined some of the metal. You melt it down and get a lot of the scum off, because a lot of scrap metal has got a lot of residue on it, and so it's basically a matter of refining it a little bit. And there you can see some of the ingots that I've already cast. So that's more of a refining process when you're melting it down from extrusions and what have you. And as you can see, we're getting quite a nice finish. There's very few cavities, well, no cavities at all in that cast ingot. So that's looking promising. I have got a couple of railway related models, railway related videos in the pipeline. As Haddon to Bakewell ended, I was looking at the possibility of whether you could have opening lock gates, and I was just doing a little mock-up to see whether you could have opening lock gates on a canal. Again, something a little bit different, the idea being that the two lock gates would be connected together with gear wheels, and that flexible drive system from curtain wire would simply operate it. So I might finish that off. For a long time I've been going to do a video on my wood carving that I did many years ago, and I went up in the loft and pulled some of my carvings down the other day. They haven't seen the light of day for many years. Just a little simple pair of mushrooms. Most people would be able to achieve something like that, and as you can see, they're quite sweet. The noise of the paper will probably be absolutely terrible. There's a horse and rider that I did. That's carved out of lime, a very close grained timber. What else we got? Oh, we've got a pussycat there. A pussycat is carved out of beech. Now we've got a stoat and a baby hedgehog, all carved out of one piece of wood. As I say, it's very sad that some people don't appreciate how much pleasure and satisfaction you can get from creating something out of a simple lump of wood like that. So, as I say, I intend to do a video along that lines. They won't obviously be all model railway related, so please don't feel obliged to watch them. They will appeal to a completely different spectrum of viewer. As I say, the main thing that I wanted to do is say a really big thank you for all your support over the past few weeks. One of my biggest regrets is perhaps not fully realising just how many people enjoyed the type of content and enjoyed the videos I've been putting out in the past. So I say we've got to move on. That's going to be my new project. Hopefully it's not going to cost a lot of money, but sod it, as I say, I can't sit around twiddling my thumbs. I will go insane unless I've got some kind of challenge or something to think about. So I'll drink to your good health and wish you all the best. I don't know whether I've never been a drinker, in actual fact. You can count on that hand how many times I've had a shandy, so I never actually go down the beer aisle or wine aisle of a supermarket. But in the local shop, they had a display on for dandelion and burdock, alcoholic dandelion and burdock. I mean, do you remember dandelion and burdock that we used to have as kids? And I thought, no, it'll never be the same. I thought, go on, try it. Well, honestly, it's absolutely beautiful. So if I get stressed out, this really goes down a treat. I'm just in danger of becoming an alcoholic, having never drunk in my life before. So I wish you all the best. As I say, many thanks for all your support, and cheers for now, and we'll see you soon with some more videos. Thanks a lot. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Just tastes like it did when we were kids. Thanks a lot, everybody. Cheers.